Perfect. All right. So I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Ms. Boyd. I am the Assistant Director for Campus Programming. And I will be assisting you all to go through a couple of event programming information along with ways of how to get to the contract and getting information on what the contract means and what you should entail on it. I will do my best to try to reply to people's comments in the chat, but you're welcome to put it in there. And then if not, I will leave some time at the end for everyone to answer their questions. So we'll get started. So Event Planning 101. So define your specific purpose. What is it? What do you want to do with your particular event? Is it a fundraising event? Are you doing some type of philanthropy? Are you doing anything that's going to build community? Define that purpose of your event. Then you're going to think about how do we get connected to the purpose for the group? So why us? Why now? Why do we want people to get connected to our particular event? What are we selling to people to get them want to be involved? And how we can be able to get to that information. So along with that, you want to think about the attendees. Who are we marketing to? What is it that the attendees are going to get from this event? How is it going to be beneficial? How can this become an impact to those students? So then we'll think about how the org members will be helping us benefit it. So what can they be getting out of this by their assistance? So we definitely want to think about how each of those decisions aligned with our goals, our aspects, how we want for people to be able to get whatever the program is that we have planned. I will take a minute. If I am going too fast, I do tend to speak fast. Definitely tell me to be able to slow it down as well. And I am going to try to make this as interactive as possible. So if people can give me a couple answers, that would be great. The first question is, what kind of events do people have planned this semester? And throw just a couple ideas out. Ain't nobody got nothing planned? Oh, okay. Fashion show. Ooh, acapella group. For this acapella group, I definitely want to connect with y'all because I'm interested of seeing like how that is. So after, if you can send me like a DM to give me some information of what kind of events y'all have or who to connect with, I definitely want to be able to do that. A tea party, a film fest, field day. Ooh, these sound really fun. Improv. Oh, who's coming to the improv? You could DM me personally if you don't want to tell everybody, and a surprise. But that sounds fun. Okay. Y'all got some really cool events. So yeah, so definitely think about what the goals is. Oh, I didn't even know they have one on campus. I also want a preference to y'all. I am new. I just got here in January, so I've only been here for a semester, and I really only seen the spring semester stuff. So I'm interested in seeing what happens during the fall. So I'm really also learning about the clubs and organizations we have on campus. So that is definitely interesting. Nice. So when we go into planning timelines, if it's something large, you want to make sure that you are taking enough time to plan it ahead of time. That is going to be the biggest thing and with that, you want to ensure that you are crossing off all of the things of what could happen because you want to be able to catch those things as soon as possible So that way you're not also scrambling, you're not stressed out about what ifs or what happens. So leave you a couple weeks or a couple days prior to the event to go through anything that could be happening. Also, try to stay organized. Make sure you have a list. If you use Google to do your tracking your lists, any apps that you use those to be able to stay organized and set yourself personal timelines of when you try to complete things to get done. Then anything that goes along with ECS requirements. So making sure you go to the ECS session so that way they can be able to tell you where you need to ensure that you are connecting with them to ensure that you're getting those things done. Also, remember your workload. Please don't overpile your things. I know you want all to be great student leaders. You want to be able to do multiple things, but please do not overpack yourself because that is how you can definitely stress yourself out. And we don't want anything major to happen. So make sure that you put on what your plate that you have the capacity to do. And especially if you're a president, vice president, and you're in the e-board section, make sure you delegate, 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 delegate. That is the biggest advice that I can give to our students to ensure that they are delegating tasks. Review any available resources that could be helping. So whatever that event that you have, or going back to the goals that you want to be able to have, thinking about how I can either collaborate or connect with a particular department on campus that might be beneficial for me. So thinking about those things when you are planning your events, because they also could either have some resources for you or be able to help you out with any of the necessary needs that you have, especially if it comes to some type of connect or person that's on campus that actually may be doing something. And then they may know a person to know a person to know a person. Networking is definitely always one of the biggest things with planning that you'll be able to need, because instead of you going out and paying for some particular person to help facilitate an event for you or anything, you might have someone who knows someone who would be willing to do it for free. So definitely look into those things when you're going back. Utilizing a backward design. So you can start with your event goal, then consider your decision, your deadlines, and when you want for those to be accomplished. Then you go count the weeks to determine how long it's going to take you to properly plan that event. Then set your committee timeline, and then look forward to the date as far enough advance so that you have enough planning. So again, going back to ensure that you have all the things that you need prior to, and also setting up that time frame that if you need to go back and make some changes or go get something to order or go get a form completed, you have enough time and you're not trying to do that 30 minutes before the event. So managing your committee, using a strong timeline, and having ensure that you have enough people is going to be very critical to planning your events. Knowing that sometimes clubs may have a various amount of people that are in there. You could have very large groups, you could have very small groups, but using the people that you have in there effectively so you can be able to do so. And even if you go into volunteering time from outside sources or other people, could be even more beneficial as helping. Also, if you know that your club is something that other students have at other universities, having that connect and collaborating with those students on outside campuses, they can be able to say, hey, would you come in and help us at an event if it's possible? Or also just being able to get out inside help from friends that are able to help in those spaces. Consider assigning specific roles, whether that's financial, logistics, or marketing. People love titles, and so they can use it on their resume. So if you just gave them the director of so and so, and they would be able to do it, it'll make it look great on a resume, and they'll be able to help. But you want to also ensure that the person that's in that role is doing the work, and they're not just having a fancy title just to have a fancy title. Assign the tasks that should be specific. Always have a deadline. Have the group agree upon communication methods. Major decisions should be made by the committee, not the individual. Minor decisions can be made by individuals and allow autonomy. And then normalize asking questions early in the process. And then make it fun. Obviously the end goal of any program is for it to be fun and for people to enjoy it. And then also remember, while you're planning the things that could go wrong sometimes are out of your control, so you have nothing to worry about. But the ones that do make a mistake, you also have to remember that the people there don't know that it's a mistake. So you don't have to broadcast it. You don't have to make it seem like it's a scene. Just fix the problem and just move on with it. They may just think it's just a part of the program and you just keep it going. But don't stress yourself out with looking at how to like change a program. Budgeting. You want to be able to ensure that you are staying organized. So whomever the treasurer that is within your organization, understanding that they are reviewing all of the funds that the organization has, whether that's coming from scholarships, donations, collaborations, then subtract a little buffer money for incidental, miscellaneous things that you have to pick up extra the day of and or hours before, minutes before to ensure that you have it because you don't want to always give yourself to the T because of those things that might happen. Gather those quotes and then ask about any of the hidden fees that might come along with it. So if they're saying that this is what the event will cost, do I need, a generator? Do I need parking passes to be able for the vendor to come out here? Do I need access cords that ECS may not be able to have, or if they do, they're going to charge me for them to be able to do so. So I'm looking at what those costs are going to be. Also looking at any of the other excess expenses for delivery, if it's going to cost for a delivery fee for them to bring it over. So looking at those things and making sure that you are calculating the things and ensuring that it's very accurate as possible. So that way you at least know that you have some money to be able to move forward. Then review with the committee to prioritize, reduce, eliminate, and approve all of the expenses that may be considered or may not be considered. Then make your purchases, place an order, and then go over that and then review, record everything that you have in detail. So that way, if you have to go back for record keeping, you can be able to know exactly what you spent the money on to the T of what's being spent and use it there. Risk management. You want to ensure that there aren't any accidents that are happening there and you're clear of those things. So preparation is key. So you want to review the location restrictions. You can find that on the planning guide for Towson. You want to check in the procedures and attendance record. You want to know how the rules are being communicated and enforced. Are the activities in a space that has safety concerns? Is there going to be money handling in there? How to be able to collect the money? Who's collecting the money? The way it's collected? And then establish a chain of command of who's going to be the point of contact, the person that is going to be assisting with communicating to the people of how it's getting taken care of. You already got the information about not being able to use any of your Venmo, your Zelle, your PayPal, or not PayPal, Cash App, all of those things, knowing that those can't be used. So if you having people say, hey, I can do that, then you're telling them the correct information of I can't be able to accept that. It needs to be out of these methods and be able to use it in that way. And then also just have some extra stuff on site. It's always good to have a pack section. I keep a lot of things in folders. That's how I keep organized. And when I'm out somewhere, I have a clipboard, and that clipboard is kept with extra pens, papers, markers, any other tools that I think that might come across that might be needed that I can just be able to add in there. So if that's tape, that's a mini stapler or staples or any of those things in there, you can be able to add that to a little pack section and keep that with you so you're not running around trying to figure out how do I get these supplies. And then that way you'll have them just in case you may need them. Accessibility. When we're looking at it, today's group of students, we also want to think about how we're ensuring that everyone is being included into those sessions. So when we're looking at food, when we're looking at language, physical space, things that are being printed out, we're wanting to ask ourselves, can we be able to ensure that anyone that comes to our event has it? So if you need to ask questions about if my event can have all these things or these accommodations are being made, you can talk to our accessibility and disability services about those questions, and they should be able to help you or give you in the right direction of to ensure that your event has everything that's needed. Marketing. So marketing is very, 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 very important. Word of mouth is always a good thing, which is a very good tool for using for people to come out. But if you don't always have that, you know you have the option to do social media, go into TU Today, you can go to Involve, you can do an events at TU, flyers, any signage, and handouts. Those will be some of the main ways that you can be able to use, but you want to ensure that you're getting the message out to anywhere. So, however creative you want to be able to use your networks, do so. And then also looking at the TU brand. So, looking at what the branding guidelines are going to be for every student and every event when you're posting situations. You don't want to ensure that if you have no marketing, that's not a good thing. You want to be able to have that. Late marketing, incomplete marketing, and boring marketing will not get nobody's attention. If somebody just sees something that says come out here and it doesn't say when, it doesn't say where, it doesn't say what time, it doesn't say attire, it don't have none of that information, you're not pretty much going to get no one's attention. But if you have something that has something that catches their attention, or even if it's a title, but no, they don't know what it means, but because it says something cool, it says something fun, then you may get someone that's interested to see what's happening out there and they want to become, because again, you want to be mindful, you want to be demure, you want to be cutesy, you want to make sure you have all those things in there so that way people can be able to come to those things. I thought I was gonna get somebody with that. So cool. Then sustainability. Um, how can you ensure that your event how can you ensure your event is more green? Are you having anything that's going to be recyclable in there? Are we doing any collaborations? Has there been times that you collaborated with even a department or another org on campus? How are you be able to do that? Recognize. How can you ensure that your group is recognized? Little details. How can you make it more memorable? Because at the end of the day, when you come back for homecoming 30 years later and that event is still happening, and people are like, hey, mom, remember this? Or you did this? And people be like, yeah, I remember that event. And you'd be like, yeah, you pat yourself on the back because you'd be like, I created that. I did that. I left my legacy right here on campus. And people are going to remember this thing, for years to come. And then how are you representing TU and your organization well? So you always have to know that your organization is a brand and it's wherever you're going. So you also want to ensure that you as a person are representing yourself well going out, because they don't want to be like, oh, well, that's the girl from so and so. So you want to be able to ensure that however you're representing it well, and that the students there are knowing what kind of quality of events that you're providing for them and they're willing to want to come again. At the event, if everyone is working at the event is miserable, do you want to stay? That's always a general question you want to ask, because everybody has worked so much to try to get it. That day might have been even more to even get it set up and everything else. But if you come in with an attitude, or you're not greeting people when they come in here, nobody gonna want to stay, or they're not gonna feel welcome here. So they're not gonna want to come back. And you want people to come back to your events. So ensure that you're staying organized, you're communicating, and that's either communicating to the guests, communicating amongst your members. Everybody is getting the information and they're not playing telephone, and it's not a whole bunch of stuff going on. So making sure your communication is definitely well. You're having fun, you're being positive, and you're respecting the facility that you're using. And then you're leaving things better than they arrived. So meaning you're cleaning up, and then praising the work well done publicly, and providing correction when it's needs to done privately. That's just going to be a big thing as a personal goal for yourself growing up. There are some things that if it is going wrong or things that are going not the way that you expect for them to do, you take that and write it down, and you bring it back to the committee and you say, hey, these are some things that I noticed that could have been done, in a better way. How can we improve for the next event? Or while it's out there, hey, Susie, you did a great job making sure that this guest felt perfect or they felt welcome. So continue to do that when you're doing that. So ensure that you are making sure that your committee knows that they are doing a good job and their work here is valid. And they're not feeling validated if they never even get a simple praise. Some people may not want it, but it's always good to at least let them know that they thank you. That can go a long way. Yes, if it's all you have to say is thank you, giving that information, and then gathering feedback. So if that requires some kind of survey that you have, or that's just for them completing the survey on involved with checking the stars, getting some type of feedback from your attendees to let you know what you can improve or what you can do better, and if you need to be able to put this event back on again. After the event, you want to pay your bills, because when those information get back to the appropriate departments and saying, hey, we haven't received our things, or the vendor is calling y'all and saying, hey, we haven't gotten our money, then you want to ensure that you did the correct channels about paying the bill. So we'll also go through the contract and to ensure what you need to be able to complete it on. Then send thank yous. Like I said, sending thank yous to your staff, to the people that came to your event, and then also to the vendors so that they know that there are respectable manners here. Then review any of the assets or assessments that went out. So if you accomplished the goals that you set out in the beginning of what you needed to do, and then make notes for next time and then report back to your org. So those are very important tasks that you can be able to do, knowing that you've paid your event, especially when it comes to contracts. Contracts are only paid 30 days after the event. So if someone comes and say, we want to be able to do something for you, but you need to put a deposit down, or we need you to pay something prior to, knowing and letting them know that I can't do that. The way our system works is that 30 days after the event happens, then we can be able to pay you, and we can't pay you anything prior to. And that's how the system works. They're not willing to do that, then it's again finding a new vendor who's willing to work with that system, but usually most people are. And if you don't get anything after the payment, then at that point in time, then you're going to the appropriate departments and say, hey, I know we sent out all the documents. The vendor still said that they have not received payment. I just wanted to follow up to see what needs to happen. So here we go into the TU contract. So why and when do you need to use a contract? So there are at least two contracts that people use. That is the entertainment contract and the goods and service contract. The entertainment contract is purposely for entertainment services, someone that is coming to do something like a DJ, an artist, a comedian, any type of performer, something like that. That's usually when you use that. The goods and service is just that when someone is providing a service to you and they're literally just dropping off that service, that's when you would provide that contract for that. So those are when you would use it, and that's how you would use or why you would use it. Where do you get these forms? So you would go to Campus Links. Let me see if I can pull that up. Can y'all see it? No? Okay. Wait. Sorry. All right. Can y'all see it now? All right. So if you go to involved, make sure you sign in. Even if you don't sign in, you can probably still get to it, but make sure that you've signed in. Then you're going to go to this little thing where it's like a little hamburger, and you pull over to the side and you scroll down. And then right under here, it'll say entertainment contract. That's where you would go to get the information. This is also, again, where you would find the food waiver if you're using any type of food that is coming out. This is that purchase request form Carolyn was talking about earlier to get it. And then here is also a guide that you can also go, and this guide will show you how to use the contract. Let me go back to the other one. Oop, nope. Let me go back to this and then we'll go through that. So, where do you find the form? We showed you that. Is there a guide to help us? Yes, I showed you that and I'll go through that. What else is needed? You need your W-9. Well, you need the W-9 and a proof of insurance. The proof of insurance is usually called the COI. So that is what you'll hear people say. Where do you get this form from? Along with or where do we submit the form? That'll go, the purchase request for form I showed you all will go to the SGA Finance. There is probably an email link on there that you can be able to do or provide it to them in hand. There are some exceptions for photography and videographers. And then what do you do if the vendor refused a contract? Like Chris said earlier, no contract, no money. That's needed. So no student can sign a contract. So please remember that. The organization must be on the form, and then no contract, no payment. Explain, Grace, what do you mean by as far as a guest speaker? What are you referring to? Then that is it. So if you need any help, my office is here in the Student Union. I am in room 251, Suite K, and this is my email address, and this can be able to find you. I'm going to go back to the other item that I was showing y'all to show y'all the contracts. Let me share my screen. Let me put up just a little bit. So on a contract, maybe I can do it this way. Well, it just downloaded it, didn't it? Yeah. All right. It's not going to show on the screen. Let's go back to, screen 2. All right. So can y'all see the contract and the other form? Okay. So this is a contract. So basic information, you will go put in the day, the time, and then here is where you would put the artist or the information's name there. It's going to automatically populate right here. You would put their address. If they come with an agency, then you would put that here. Again, that's where it's listed here. This literally gives you step-by-step on how you can be able to provide that information. And then that's where you would complete it there. There are specific answers that would be needed. Here, if you are having a performer or something and they need to take break or there's an intermission, you're welcome to give them breaks. And then if they're coming early to do some type of sound check, you can put that information. And then here's where you would put the amount that they are getting paid, who they're going to get paid to, and then go from there. All of that, again, is literally listed on here of how you would need to put that. So if you're having the artist, then you would put all of the dates. If it's multiple dates they're performing, breaks, there's setup that you've set up with ECS on how they're supposed to get that done, and then sound tracks. Sound check. My club is working with professionals who serve on this panel. They are volunteering, not paid. Do the entertainment contract. That's the same. For volunteering purposes, I think that let me find out because I am not sure. I've only worked with paid people here. And so I'm not sure if the volunteering is how that would work if they would need one. I am going to take a wild guess and say that they won't need one because they're not getting paid and you're not having all of this specific information for it. So there wouldn't be necessarily a need to do one, but let me double check for you on that on Grace, and I will get that to you before we finish up this end of the session, okay? Um, here, here's gonna be where I'm gonna try to open this bigger. Here's where you'll put your information and also information of how they're getting paid, like where the funds are going to come onto, who's going to be the contact person. And then this is where you would stop, like I said, where you get to the actual contract because you can't sign it, and you will get that sent over for the department to get signed. This would go probably to me because I am the assistant director for campus programming, and I will get all of this information completed for you to get signed if you need to complete with a contract. I also will show y'all. It looks like most of y'all just do on here, but just to also give you an idea, if you go to your MyTU, if y'all go to forms depository, if you can't find it on Involved or can't remember, this is also another way. Once you go and you log in, you'll go down here at the bottom where it says Office of General Counsel forms. This is also where you can find the contracts. This is where the goods and service contract is found, and then this is where the entertainment contract is found. So that's just another way for you to be able to figure out where the information is and how you can be able to work. I have gone through all of that. And I think I still had about 20 minutes left. Do y'all have any questions, comments, concerns besides Grace? And I'm gonna get that information to you before, just to confirm. Nope. No questions.
I have a question actually.
Okay, yes, Paula.
So as a events chair, sometimes when we're like emailing Towson staff or like trying to get assistance for outside help with the staff, sometimes there's like conflicts because they don't do their part and they take too long on their end. And it messes us up on our end when we're planning events. So I wanted to know like what is it better? I don't know how to word this question, but like what's a better way to um get the help that we need when like certain staff aren't doing their job?
My advice when you are trying to connect with staff to get an answer or a question, if you have already, well, that also starts with when are you sending this information out? You do know that we are just as busy as y'all and have a lot of stuff. Now, if you give me something and you trying to get an answer back the next day, that's going to be very hard. So my advice is that you start with a time period. when do you need to get this information from that particular staff mate? So you are asking them at least a week in advance, if not within 72 to 48 hours in advance. At that point in time, depending again when you're connecting with them, that you are either sending them an email, contacting them. Yes, the session on the room reservations is after that. All of that information is going to be in ESC or ECS. Um, you're contacting them and then you're sending up a follow email. If you still can't get them within that time frame, then you're figuring out how do I figure out where their office is? And then you're going to their office and dropping by and leaving messages. At that point, some point of time, someone has gotten that message to them or they've gotten that message. And even if you can't get that message from that particular person, I'm sure there's somebody in that office that can be able to help you get the message or get the information that's related. So those will be my biggest thing is that stopping by the office, calling, and then sending emails could be ways to do it, but also giving them enough time in advance that they can be able to reply to you and not that you're giving something to them and looking for an answer within 20 minutes.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, Julia.
So I just heard about the Venmo thing this semester. I didn't know if that was a pre-existing rule. Is there a
Mhm.
reason behind that? And do you have any suggestions to kind of still make fundraisers accessible and kind of like possible? Because a lot of people don't carry cash. So I was just curious about what we should do as an organization.
Yeah, so my suggestion is that I know that I think they have opportunities for, and correct me if I'm wrong, if someone else may know this, but I think they might have the option to do like a Square, and you can use that um, as a way to, people to swipe their credit card on there. Or I think that PayPal is an option. And so you can be able to utilize that. But um, because the thing is with using Venmo and Cash App and all of that, it goes into your personal account. And with it going into your personal account, there's no way for us to track that exact amount went into it. Granted, you might be a very honorable person and you're not willing to take anything or steal anything from the group. But in order for people to get an actual tract of the money that's being able to get in there, then they need to have record that is going into your account versus going into your personal bank account and then you having to take it out and then putting it into the account and stuff like that. So it's more or less of like an honor system of us being able to track it. So if they have accessible ways for people to be able to track versus it being cash or PayPal or the Square, then those are easier ways for people to ensure that that money is going directly into your account versus your personal account. Because at that point, you could have been like, hey, I have it. And $10 was going in there, but you're only giving the group $5. And they're like, I know we made more than that, but they don't have any ways to show it. And if you're not having that information or proof, then it's easier to do that. And again, not everybody has the same morals and stuff like that. So I think that is the main reason why they don't want you to have those other accessible accounts about sending it to you.
Okay. So we're allowed to use credit cards. Credit cards and cash are fine.
Yes, I believe credit cards and cash are fine.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem. Um, banners for packages for organizations. I'm not sure I exactly understand your question, so anybody else? Or if you can further explain.
Um, so Fusion Dance Team, it's a package 4 team. So each year we're technically allowed to have a new banner for our organization, but we've had the same one for years. So I was wondering how we go about getting a new one.
Okay. How do you know where was it? Was the, you know who previously made it? Was it something that the university marketing department made for you all, or you just happen to have it prior
Um,
to you getting here?
yeah, we just happen to have it. But if is there, should I ask in the main group when we go back?
Yeah, I would ask in the main group of how that's done, but usually for those type of things, from my understanding from a lot of these things that I've been working with, um, those things that are being displayed, university marketing has ways to be able to create those things because they have to get approved through the university, especially if it's going to have TU marketing on it or anything that's related to TU. Usually gets approved through there. So they're usually the ones that create the image. Like you can tell them what you want or the idea that you want, and then they create it. And then from there, the university could have to do it. Because I think the department that we have here on campus does make banners, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Well, we have about 7 more minutes before we go off to the next session. I know someone asked about uh, the breakout rooms. The link, I think the link to go back to or the links that they provided in the main session would have the links for you to go to the next breakout session. Because I was not sent any links to put in the chat to provide to y'all. So I'm assuming that's how you would get the links if you don't have them or not able to go to the main session. Yes, and they are also involved. Thank you, Julia.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So I came in a little bit late, so I did miss the whole payment part when we were doing fundraising. But
How you gonna miss my whole section, girl? I'm just
no, no,
playing.
no, 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 no. I got you. No, I have my other cohorts in here too.
Okay.
But my question is, when it comes to payment, I just want to clarify. We can use credit cards and then cash. Do we go to you guys right after to put the money in our allocated account, or how does that really work?
I think that's an SGA question.
Okay.
I'm not
Because
totally.
I'm like, is it something that our treasurer is holding for us until the end of the semester, or that's I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm trying to understand that part.
yeah. I didn't talk about much. That would be a SGA question on how that finance part works after you've collected your money from the event.
Okay, cool.
But I have a couple of questions already I need to follow up on, but if you don't get the answer before the end, I can definitely follow up and get that answer for you. Antonio, will this PowerPoint be available after the Zoom session? Yes, I believe all of them will be sent to everyone after. Any other questions? You're welcome. All right. Well, I hope y'all have fun with me. This was great. I had fun doing this session. This was my first time. Did I do good? Thumbs up. Great. I did poorly. Give me some feedback. Okay, great. Okay, love it, love it, love it. Oh, thank y'all are yes, very mindful, very demure. Yes, I tried. I love it. I love it. I love it. Y'all are amazing. Y'all just boosted my confidence up. Just very lively, very passionate. Yes, I'm here for it. Love my energy. I try. You know, I'm a Gemini, so I give it both sides, however you want it to give. But yes, definitely come and see me. Come and hang with me. Come and talk to me. And connect with me. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help, especially if there are any other groups that are on campus that want to partner up with any of our programming that we're doing. All right, Gemini hate need to get out the comments. I am here for the to be able to help and assist. I want to be able to be that support system for you all. So definitely reach out to me. Oh Lordy, be able to get there. Well, okay. Yes, like I said, please send me any information or email me whoever's from the acapella because I want to come. I'm so interested. I've heard so many great things and I want to come to an event. So definitely send me something so I can be able to reach out and connect with y'all. Also, I'm also doing stuff. I'll send another plug while we have time. I am also over homecoming. So we do have auditions coming up for the talent show. So there's anybody who's interested in participating in the talent show, please reach out to me or send me an email on the homecoming at towson.edu email and I'll be able to give that information to you. Currently, right now, our auditions are set for September 5th, September 6th, and then 11th, I think. But that information will be coming forth. So if you want to audition, please come out and support so we can add you to the list for our talent show. And then also if there are any performers or groups that would like to be a part of our admissions, like our intermission sessions and want to perform and don't want to participate, please reach out to me as well so I can also get that information out to you as well. So I am glad that you all enjoyed. You can reach me again at qboyd@towson.edu and I'll be able to help you. Yeah, I don't have the links to the other session. I'm assuming that all of those are either in the main session or on Involve, like they said earlier. So thank y'all for reaching out, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.